Newcastle always do feel special. Newcastle will want to take a piece out of them. My oh my, that's not good.
It is Dominic Szoboszlai!
And Ryan Gravenberch has scored for Liverpool. Gordon squeezed it in. Joe, stunning finish.
Mo Salah. And Alexis McAllister has his goal.
Chance, goal, Mohamed Salah for Liverpool. And Hugo Ekitike is at it again. Newcastle's captain steps forward for them. Lovely done, Ingram Moa!
Saturday night under the lights at Anfield. As ever, when we face Newcastle, you can expect goals, you can expect drama, and most of all, you can expect a battle as well. It was 6 of the best here against Karabag as the Reds booked their place in the round of 16 of the Champions League. Can Arne Slot's men channel that European feel-good factor into their Premier League campaign now? It is Liverpool versus Newcastle. And it wraps up what's been a pretty busy day in the Premier League so far. This one gets underway at 8 o'clock. As ever, we will have live audio commentary of the full game right here on LFC TV and All Red Video as well. Yeah, welcome along to tonight's Match Day Live for a game that never fails to entertain, does it? And these two here know all about that, having taken part in some epic battles between Newcastle and Liverpool in the past. Jason McAteer and David James are here for this one. Lots to come from them. First, though, let's get the Liverpool starting 11. Peter McDowell has all the team news for us. Peter.
Yeah, we are back for match day 24, believe it or not, in the Premier League. Back to the bread and butter under the famous lights here at Anfield after the success in Champions League during the week. But Arne Slot, by his own admission, knows that the room for error where the chase for this top four is well and truly over now. The 2 draws in the last 2 here really starts or needs to start turning into wins against Newcastle tonight. But he has had some good news this week in the form of the return of Ibrahima Konate. He's trained with the team the last couple of days, and no surprise to see him coming straight back into the team. That is the one enforced change, almost Jeremy Frimpong missing, and there's a straight change at left back, the 2 changes that Arne Slot makes for tonight. So let's confirm that 11 in full for you then. Alisson Becker in goal, Virgil van Dijk 3 assists here in midweek. He and Konate so pivotal in that aerial bombardment that happened at Newcastle back in August. So Konate coming back in, no surprise either. Kirkes returning too. Florian Wirtz, the man in form at the moment also. And then Dominic Szoboszlai, who you would assume is that choice to go in and play at right back now. Liverpool's second top scorer with 8 goals. So that would have been a real quandary for Arne Slot during the week. Alexis McAllister, who scored in the 2-0 win in this game last season. And Mo Salah, his first goal since November the 1st. On Wednesday night, really enjoyed taking the adulation of the Kop as well as he turned towards them as he celebrated his goal. Played his first game in England against Newcastle as a Chelsea sub back in 2014. 13 goals in 16 games he's got against teams that are managed by Eddie Howe. Cody Gakpo continues, and then it's also Hugo Ekitike, 13 goals. One of them 20 seconds into the second half, you might remember, at St James's Park back in August. So many good signs between him and Florian Wirtz. 3 assists for him. Wirtz has returned that favour twice. The link-up is the most by 2 players aged 23 or under since Gerrard and Owen were plying their trade in these parts not that long ago. And don't forget as well, the man so heavily linked with Newcastle before joining this Liverpool team, Ryan Gravenberch, completes the 11, scoring the opener in that 3-2 win in August. And then it goes Mamardashvili, Endo, Robertson, Nioni, Ramsey, Nallo, Engamora, of course, who had his big moment there in the reverse fixture back in August. Chiesa, who scored at Wembley. It's a goal that will be forgotten. It turned out to be a bit of a consolation. And Curtis Jones on the bench as well, who turned 25 yesterday. Only 1 goalless draw between these 2 teams in the last 79 when they've come together. They tend to be classics, as Jason McAteer will atone to. The last goalless draw here was 55 years ago.
Thanks very much indeed. We'll get your thoughts on the team in just a minute. But for you two, played your part in some iconic fixtures in the 90s, the 2-4-3s, of course. I imagine this is a game that evokes big memories, Jace.
Yeah, of course. You know, when this fixture comes around, we get to talk about the past, and the past brought up two fantastic fixtures. It's kind of fitting, really, that this game tonight is under the lights. And it is at night time, because it seems to bring the best out of the two teams, doesn't it? And it certainly was that case for us in two consecutive seasons, 2-4-3s that were played out and so different, weren't they, in sense of how the game's played. And you know, although there were two last-minute winners in each game, you know, to go 3 up and then be pegged back to 3-3, I thought it was going to cost us a day off, to be honest. And when it went to 3-3, I thought we're going to be in training tomorrow, and we had a day off planned. But the first one for me was very special. It was backwards and forwards, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, and it just played out to be the game that everyone calls the greatest game in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with some fans about it yesterday. It was, it's interesting when you're in the game. As Jason said, the first one, I tried to catch Les Ferdinand's first shot because I thought I could, and I didn't, and it went in. There was loads of mistakes, but it ended up being an epic game. I think Les Ferdinand had a shot again, which I saved in the last few seconds. The ball came down the other end. Stan Collymore scores the winner. The second, as Jason said, was not a very good technical game, but it added to the drama. I look back at it now 20 plus years later and go, you know, if I'd have kept a clean sheet there, no one would be talking about it. So sometimes something
that's a very valid point.
And it's added to the drama of this fixture.
Yeah, I don't know whether we've got a 4-3 in us tonight, in terms of there's been a lot of dramatic late winners and also conceding late goals as well so far, Jay. So we'd probably settle for a nice 2-0 maybe.
Yeah, we'd settle for that. We'd settle for a 1-0, scruffy 1-0. But, you know, you say there's not a 4-3. There could be.
Do you anticipate a lively game, though, tonight? That's what I'm asking.
Newcastle have already been involved in the 4-3 this season.
They have,
so the way that Newcastle play, they love chaos. As we saw in midweek against Carabao, Liverpool love scoring goals. So, I mean, the ingredients are there for something epic. And as long as Liverpool end up with 3 points at the end of it, then we'll be happy.
I think it'll depend on how Eddie Howe goes about it. Listen, they had a really good result in Paris in midweek, the 1-1. Changed the system, went to 5 at the back. And as we know this season, that's been, you know, a bit of a stumbling block for Liverpool to kind of get in behind, to create, to score, and it's been something Arne Slot has had to deal with and not dealt with very well, to be honest. So if Eddie Howe decides to go that way, it could be a bit of a dull night, and we could end up nicking it 1-0, hopefully, but we'll have to see how they line up.
Yeah, well, we've just seen, obviously, the team from Peter there. I think we can show you the side actually arriving. They are all decked out in Tommy Hilfiger, tonight, who, of course, are a partner of the club this season, looking extremely dapper. But just in terms of the starting, very dapper.
Well, J-Mo knows all about clothes.
How do you rate them, David? You would have fitted in very well with that lineup, wouldn't you?
Very well, J-Mo.
I think the big question would be, did they get to choose what they're wearing?
I feel like they
because
would have
everyone
done.
seems to have a different outfit on.
That's true.
Good
yeah,
point,
maybe it got assigned.
I like that one.
It's nice, isn't it?
Oh, Curtis. I like a bit of double-breasted.
Curtis is a snappy dresser, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's 25 now.
Everyone at home is thinking, talk about the team and talk about the game. So let's get into talking about the team. In terms of the starting 11, Jace, obviously we knew that the injury to Jeremy Frimpong, the tour was at right back. It looks like it will be Dominic Szoboszlai. What's your thoughts?
The nightmare continues at right back. It seems to be a cursed area of the pitch for us this season, doesn't it? I think we've had 4 or 5 different personnel playing that position. Jeremy, obviously, with his hamstring injury, it's not great. Certainly on top of Conor Bradley's knee injury. So Dominic Szoboszlai, which is a big component of that midfield, is having to be taken out of there and put into the right back position. So, yeah, it's not great, but he's going to have to do it.
It's really unfortunate for Jeremy Frimpong, who obviously has already had a few spells out already this season, David, and then comes back in, really seems to be getting into a rhythm, and then this happens. Good thing is, hopefully just a few weeks. That was the news from the boss in the press conference.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but in some ways, the fact that he has been in and out means that it's not a drastic change. I mean, if he'd been playing all the time and all of a sudden was out, then we'd be looking at something that we would be unused to. But I think Dom's going to have, depending on, I haven't seen the Newcastle line-up, but you would imagine Anthony Gordon will quite relish the opportunities, which goes back to the original part of the conversation about whether this would be a goal fest, with Anthony Gordon looking to take advantage of Dominic because he is quick. then it means that it's going to be end-to-end potentially, and not just the back five defensive lineup that Newcastle might do.
Yeah, we'll speak in depth about Anthony Gordon a little bit later on, but let's speak about someone else who returns to the defence, Ibou Konaté. Jason, lovely to see him back after obviously a really tough time for him and his family as well.
Yeah, obviously we know the compassionate reasons why he didn't play at Bournemouth, and you know he's not had the greatest season, but he's a centre half at the end of the day, and you know it was another player had to fill in, wasn't it? And you know personnel in the back four is limited at the minute, so to lose him is a loss. He comes back today. Hopefully his mind is on the game. Sometimes, you know, we've all been in it, Beck. Sometimes the pitch is a place of comfort. You know, you're just out there, you're focusing on your job. It's what you do. You know, for them 90 minutes, it's a distraction, and hopefully you can put a performance in to warrant that.
Yeah, I was going to say, David, players are human at the end of the day, and obviously we wish him all the best during his grieving process, but sometimes, as Jason says, to get back into doing something that you're so familiar with sometimes can help your peace of mind.
Yeah, I mean, Arne wouldn't be putting him on the field if he didn't think he could do that. And yes, it is difficult at times, they are human, but it's strange that 90 minutes of football just takes you away from the rest of the world and allows you to do something that you love with passion. And today will be an opportunity for him just to focus solely on the football and put in a decent performance.
At the other end of the pitch, Hugo Ekitike, who a few minutes ago was actually out on his own here on the pitch at Anfield. He has a bit of a pre-match ritual now where he comes out onto the pitch and soaks up the atmosphere pre-match. We're, of course, seeing his goal here against Karabakh, Jason. On a night that felt quite special, that was a special goal.
It's been difficult in the sense of the tactics teams have played against us, you know, low block sitting on the edge of the box. There's not a lot of space for him to run behind, but we've seen his quality against Karabakh, who actually come and tried to go toe-to-toe with Liverpool the other night. He had a good 10 or 15 minutes, didn't he? Started the game really well, but once Liverpool scored the first and the second, you could see their body language go. It was just a matter of Liverpool taking control of the game, and how many goals we were going to score was, you know, what it turned out to be. But he was relishing that opportunity with that space, and he delivered. He's getting better with every game.
He scored up at St James's Park, of course, David, earlier on in the season. If things had been different, he could well have been playing his football at St James's Park, but he is at Anfield, and we're very glad that he's here.
Fortunately not. I mean, I agree with Jason. I think he's getting better and better. I think obviously Wirtz is getting better and better, and we're talking about the problems that Liverpool have had breaking down the back five. I mean, I'm thinking about the defensive side for Newcastle potentially. We got two players hitting form who would relish the chance of going at a back five, and Ekitike will be front and centre, I'm sure, of any goal-scoring opportunities.
Yeah, let's have a look at Florian Wirtz's goal from midweek against Karabakh. Another special one, Jason. As David says, their connection is building all the time. It's 5 times they've assisted each other now.
Yeah, the more you play, the more this consistency is going to come with the relationship he's forging at the minute with Ekitike. You get to know his runs, you get to know where he is on the pitch. And Wirtz, listen, we know his quality. We knew he was going to be the player that we spent all that money on, and you know what we were expecting. It was just going to take a little bit of time for him to come to terms with the physicality of the Premier League. You know, he's put weight on, he looks stronger, he's holding players off. But again, it was a great game. It was a great game for Liverpool all round the other night against Karabakh. Like I mentioned before, they come toe-to-toe with Liverpool. There was lots of space in behind, there was lots of space in midfield. Liverpool played through the lines really quick. And when you get someone of the quality of Wirtz and the movements of Ekitike and the understanding that they're forging together, they're just going to create time and time again.
It's understanding, isn't it, David? Because to be fair to him, there were points earlier on in the season where he was actually creating quite a lot of chances, but teammates weren't always in the right position to make the most of those chances. And now that understanding has blossomed a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting watching him, because he's got this elegance about him where he doesn't look like he's overextending himself. Even where he scored there, it's kind of like it was in emotion, rather than there was a point, a shot, and then a celebration. And I think for a lot of fans, that might have been a little bit uneasy on the eye, because you're expecting something else. Yeah. We see Ekitike with all the flair.
He's not explosive, is he?
No,
I know what you mean.
But he's effective. And I think even as a teammate, you're kind of maybe expecting something different, and now they're used to what he's doing. Yeah. As I said, he'll be relishing tonight, because he can do what he does very well, and what he's been doing even better recently against what would be a very stubborn defence. So it's coming into place nicely at the right time.
It certainly is. Right, we've touched there on a few individual performances against Karabakh. We'll speak about what it means as a whole in just a moment. First, though, let's have a quick reminder of how the game played out.
Arne Slot's side have seen off some familiar foes in their 7 matches so far and arrive on the final night knowing a win will be enough to secure a top 8 finish. Soberslai swings it in Ekitike towards Van Dijk. Has McAllister turned it over the line? He has, and Liverpool have their opening goal. Here's Vitz, scores again against Karabakh. Salah this time! Mo Salah breaks his Liverpool goal drought. Van Dijk looks long towards Ekitike, the foot race is on with Kevin Medina. Hugo Ekitike gets the wrong side of him. Hugo Ekitike makes it 4. Oh, McAllister's in, and McAllister scores. 2 for him, 5 for Liverpool. Salah, Van Dijk's carried on his run forward. Might well roll in an assist for Federico Chiesa. Rounds off a convincing night for Arne Slot and his team.
It felt like that was the confidence booster that just everybody needed, and by that I mean not only the squad but almost the fans as well. It brought a real feel-good factor back to the ground, didn't it?
It was what we needed, and I know we've gone well in the Champions League and there's been really good performances and great results in it, but the other night it just felt, I know it wasn't a league game, but it was just a convincing 6-0 where we were in total control apart from the first 10 minutes. And once we had, you know, the first goal or second goal, and it was about building on that, and Liverpool were clinical, could have easily have turned out a 2-0, a 3-0, and everyone had just gone home, but you walked away thinking there's something there. I really enjoyed that. The players enjoyed it. It quietened the noise down a little bit around the ground and around the narrative of what's going on with the manager and how we've been playing this season. And also, it's great to go into a dressing room when you win 6-0, isn't it? It's just a feel-good factor. It was what was needed.
I mean, some might say, in terms of Karabakh, the opposition, it's only Karabakh effectively. They're kind of a pot 4 team, if you like. But then when you look at their results in the competition, they'd amassed 10 points, 3 wins and a draw as well, David. And the way things have been recently, you just never know, do you? So it was important to get that swagger back a little bit.
What I liked about the performance more than the rating Karabakh, should I say, was when you saw Chiesa score the goal at the end there, the way that he celebrated. I know the guy comes off the bench, but even with the 5th goal, Ekitike, the amount of effort put in to score the goals all the way through the game suggested that Liverpool wanted to do as well as they could for as long as they could in the game, not just say we're 3-0 up and we'll put it to bed. So that kind of desire to keep scoring goals, I think, was important, and obviously made the result and the performance that much better.
We've got some stats here, and I know you are a big stats man. You like XG, so listen to this. Obviously, it was his biggest win, Arne Slot's biggest win since becoming Liverpool's head coach. 5th biggest win in the Champions League, full stop. A club record was broken with shots and expected goals. So 38 shots is the most they've ever had in either Premier League or Champions League. And since Opta began recording data in 2003-2004, gave an XG total of 5.93, which is obviously pretty bang on, David. But the truth is, when you look at that XG, it could easily have been 7, really.
Yeah, and that's my point. At 3-0, you could have said, all right, well, let's rest some players now. Let's really calm it down and, you know, I say risk injury, not have to go for it. But the fact that they are up until the last minutes and Chiesa scoring that goal, as I said, that when you go back to the change room, it's like, yeah, guys, we actually went for that one.
Yeah. Let's have a look at what it meant. It was indeed what it meant for the Champions League table. As you know, Liverpool finished 3rd in the end. This is the league phase, 18 points. One of 5 English sides in the top 8, which on the face of it, Jace, looks pretty healthy. We're always told the Premier League is the greatest league in the world. Is it healthy for the competition as a whole, do you think?
I don't think UEFA will be too happy. No, I think they would have liked a bit of a mix-up, wouldn't they? But it is what it is. They've showed their quality, the English teams, through the group stage. You know, can one go on now and win it? You know, it's been a while, hasn't it? And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how the draw pans out. For Liverpool, you know, on a personal note, it's great that we don't get that extra 2 games. Yeah. It did bring its drama. Have you ever scored a goal like that, by the way? What a header that was.
Ali has.
Oh,
That's true.
Ali certainly
that's
has.
true. I wonder which one was better. So
Very
it did bring
Ali
its
has.
drama. I actually do like the format, but I listened to. Well, it did make me laugh, Jamie, when I watched Jamie Carragher when he said we finished third and then the teams that we could draw. I still think that needs looking at because I still feel that's slightly unfair who we could get.
well, let's have a look who Liverpool can potentially get in the round of 16. As we said there, no need for the playoffs. They will play these games in March, and it will be either the winners of Galatasaray Juventus or Club Brugge Atletico Madrid. Of course, David, two of those sides we've already played, beat Atletico Madrid, lost to Galatasaray. Who do you fear out of those four?
Well, I'm thinking of last season and how well Liverpool did in the group stage. Similar, Arsenal obviously topped that with 100%. The knockout stages are a complete different kettle of fish, and looking at Galatasaray this week, there were elements to their game which are dangerous. Bruges can be. I mean, it's over two legs.
I mean, at this stage, it's never an easy team.
Yeah,
to
I
play,
mean, because
is it?
obviously Newcastle are playing Qarabag in the playoff, and there's a bit where you go, well, they lost 6-0 to Liverpool, so Newcastle go through, but you still got to go to Qarabag, and you don't know what's going to happen there. So, is it tough if you, as Liverpool know, to win the Champions League, you've got to beat the second best team in the competition. If you beat them in the final, you beat them in the first round of knockouts, it doesn't matter. You've still got to beat someone very good in order to be champions. So
many variables as well, isn't it? I mean, 6 weeks now, 5 or 6 weeks
Must
before
be about that,
we play. You know, the whole, as Gemmo said, you know, there's players coming into form. You know, we start building now, starting putting a real good
Hopefully
run together.
Players coming back
from
treatment room
fitness.
as
You know,
well
we
by
could be
then.
in a completely different space, can't we? So, and then you look at whoever we get, they could be, you know, in a different space. It's just, you know, coming into that game, it's where you're at.
Okay, we're going to hear from one of the hardest working men in football right now after an academy doubleheader on Friday. Our man Steve Hunter's poised for his third match commentary in the space of 36 hours. The man is a legend. That is some going, Steve.
Becky, you were far too kind. Good evening, everybody. Bitterly cold night at Anfield, but as the guys were saying there, Liverpool-Newcastle, what a fixture this is. I mean, you recall it back, don't you, to the 74 Cup final, and one of my commentator idol, David Coleman's commentary on that wonderful third goal which Kevin Keegan scored, that link play between Stevie Highway and Tommy Smith. It's magical memories. Phil Thompson still says he's got Supermac in his pocket to this day. If you don't believe me, ask him and he'll demonstrate it for you, as he did on our channel a couple of weeks ago. It was absolutely brilliant. Those 4-3 games as well, you know, under the lights as well. Both of them were under the lights. Absolutely fabulous occasions. The first one with RJ roaming down that right wing with Steve McManaman. What an absolute performance that was by Liverpool that night in Newcastle, isn't it? Absolute incredible scenes. There's always drama, isn't it, when these two teams play? And as I say, there is always drama. We know that from earlier on in the season. Absolute drama at St James's Park, and a little bit of magic from young Rio.
Challenge, isn't it? That's an awful swipe. It's a bit of a lunge. Play goes on. Liverpool have the ball, and it's in. Anthony Gordon is a willing chaser, but that's not good. What a start to the second period for Liverpool. Newcastle's captain steps forward for them, and Asula is there and scores. Well, Newcastle look for a hero. Salah, lovely dummy, Ngamoa!
My word, fabulous memories that, wasn't it? I told you something always happens in this fixture. In the lights, whether it's Anfield, St James's Park. Remember that Divock Origi winner as well at St James's, last gasp, but that was another roller coaster ride of a game under Jurgen, wasn't it? Unbelievable. But what a moment there for young Rio. I mean, young Rio Ngamoa, we have to keep remembering, and I always say he's not 18 until the 29th of August, is he? And that is absolutely, we have to remember that. He's so young to be playing in the Premier League, Champions League. He got more minutes the other night, and it was absolutely brilliant. You know, Aldo's been calling, hasn't he, on commentary, to see more of Rio off the bench, certainly in some of them stalemates we've had at Anfield. And I think Arne is giving him more minutes as we progress this season. But that night, you know, Rio Rengamoa became Liverpool's youngest ever scorer. 16 years and 361 days he was, and he went fourth on the list of the all-time youngest scorers in Premier League history. Amazing, isn't it? What can he achieve? Well, he can achieve anything he wants to be. The old classic Liverpool phrase used to be. Could he sparkle tonight? You never know. Becky, it's back to you. We'll see.
Okay, thanks, Steve. It's time now for our viewers on social media to leave us, but our build-up on Matchday Live continues right up until kick-off. If you're watching this and you want to stay with us, you can find details right now on how to subscribe online at liverpoolfc.com/watch. Coming up in the rest of our pre-match show, we will hear from Arne Slot, Eddie Howe's on the way too, and Andy Robertson as well. Just before the teams are out, Steve Hunter and Neil Mellor will be on hand to guide you through all the action with our live audio commentary service. Then after full time, we are back here, pitchside, looking over all the aspects of the game. Then the post-match show will also be available to listen to in the reaction on the club's official podcast platform. You can watch a rerun of the game against Newcastle from 6 o'clock on Sunday. And then 24 hours later, Neil Mellor will be on hand with in-depth analysis from tonight's action with the Premier League review show. That is at 6 o'clock on Monday night. So we're here building up to Liverpool taking on Newcastle under the lights. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff here at Anfield. Let's give you a quick reminder now of the side Arne Slot has picked for tonight's game. It is as follows. Alisson is in goal. Dominic Szoboszlai takes up the right back berth this evening, and Ibou Konate returns to the side.